We have some good and I guess some bad news from Lexus. We do have a new LS for 2026, but it's a special edition, a heritage edition model. They're just building 250 examples of these, and after that, the LS is officially dead, which is crazy to think about because back in 1989, the LS was introduced as a competitor to the 7 Series, the Audi A8. I don't think that was available back then. And of course the Mercedes S-Class, and they took the world with storm, Lexus, with the LS when it first came out, specifically when it comes to reliability. I mean, Toyota built, of course, Toyota being known for its reliability. Very, very sad to see the Lexus LS dead after 2026. We're going to have a look at this special Heritage Edition here and then jump into Photoshop and see where Lexus is headed when it comes to specifically their design language. And I'm gonna let you know, I've talked about this before, the problem I have with Lexus' new design language and why I'm not a fan of that at all. And I'm gonna let you know why I think it's happening with car design in general, the industry in general, and what I think the problem is and how we solve that problem later on in this video. So first of all, let's have a look at this Car Scoops article. I'm going to link it down below as always. The Lexus LS is in fact dead after 2026, and this is its final goodbye in America. So the new Heritage Edition celebrates 36 years of Lexus LS luxury with exclusive colors and just 250 examples. So it's going to be a pretty rare LS, this one here in the States. So you got exclusive black color for the exterior and red interior for the first time on an LS. I think it's a beautiful looking spec with the black exterior, red interior, and then you have these, I do believe, 20-inch wheels with a lot of spokes in silver. Thankfully, they are not black. So again, I think silver wheels are slowly making the return into car design, something that I've been wanting to see for such a long time, because when you have black wheels, even though it's a gorgeous looking wheel design itself, you can't appreciate the design of the wheel when it's all black. You can't see it. It doesn't make sense. So it was launched in 1989, as we talked about, as a 1990 model year. The full-size sedan proved you didn't need a German passport to build a German-style luxury car. And I've always been a fan of the LS. I think it's always been sort of an underdog, but for really no reason, because it's a really good vehicle. I mean, if you want a big luxury sedan with style, comfort, reliability, the LS is up there. I mean, probably more so when it comes to reliability than Mercedes, I would think. So sales has dwindled, unfortunately, for the LS, with just 691 units sold in the first half of 2025. That is 42.3% down compared to the year before, which is a massive, massive drop. And this is, of course, I understand why Lexus can't keep this in production because it doesn't make sense. They're probably losing money on the LS right now, building it compared to how much they're selling. The 2026 LS Heritage Edition is being presented as an homage to the original, with only 250 examples earmarked for the US market. Pricing starts just under $100,000, which honestly, this is a fully loaded LS, the Heritage Edition. You got all the bells and whistles on this. $100,000 for this, I think it sounds like a pretty good deal if you compare it to what's out there today. The car will arrive in showrooms later this fall. It comes exclusively in this new black shade, a deep black paint that pairs the dark trim pieces and 20-inch split spoke alloy wheels finish in dark gray metallic. Perfect. It's a perfect spec for me, even though personally, looking at the wheels here, I would want to size these wheels up a little bit and have them be maybe even 22s on this, because if you look at the side view of this vehicle, it's a very, very sleek looking design. It looks great. It has a lot of organic, beautiful flowing lines in the bodywork. And that is the design language that is unfortunately going away for Lexus. Now I'm going to show you that in a minute. The standard equipment list is suitably long, fully loaded. You got highlights such as panoramic glass roof, panoramic view monitor, laser special black premium wood trim, and a lot of other things here, as you can read right here. The Heritage Edition uses the same 3.4-liter twin-turbo V6 that you find in the regular LS500, 416 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in about 4.6 seconds. It's connected to a 10-speed automatic for an all-wheel drive system. Great specs, 416 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Sounds absolutely perfect to me. It sounds like it's suitable for this type of vehicle. This is a vehicle that you don't really want to see go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds because it just doesn't make sense. It's supposed to be the smooth pull. Luxury vehicles, luxury sedans, they have this. If you've driven a big luxury sedan compared to, for example, a sports car, the sedans, they have this pull power instead of the push power that you get in sports cars. And this is what you want. You want to have this big torque from down low, and preferably you will want to see a V8 in this. But as instead you have a 3.4 liter V6. So whether Lexus plans a direct replacement for the LS remains an open question, because Lexus says they don't comment on future plans. It's, I guess, their policy or something like that. Here we have the photo itself of the Heritage Edition. Basically the only photo that they dropped. I wanted to see more press photos of this because it is a stunning design. They should be proud of this. They should be released every single detail, the headlight, the wheels, the rear end taillight design, interior features. I wanted to see way more press photos of this vehicle, but we don't really have any, so this is the only photo that we have. So with that said, let's jump into Photoshop here and have a look at this design and where Lexus is headed. Learn design sketching online with me. My online class is now only $47. If you have any desire to pick up the skill of sketching products using simple tools such as just a big pen and some cheap print paper, this is something you want to check out. Now, over the years, I've taught over thousands of students from all around the world how to sketch cars and products using my simple sketching techniques, and most of them have seen amazing results from my classes. Analog Designer Pro Pack is the full bundle of all my classes I've released over the years, and it's yours for just $47. You also have a lifetime access to all the videos. Check out everything that's included and see what my students have to say in the link in the description, or simply visit analogdesignerpropack.com. Now, going in and having a look at this sheet here, you can clearly see that there is a massive, big difference of where Lexus is coming from and where they are headed. Now, the last, I would say, 5 years or so, maybe 6 or 7 years, Lexus have had this very organic styling to it. You can't really see it because this one being black, so it kind of hides all the lines. But everything in this vehicle is essentially a curvature with some key sharp lines. You have a nice curvature here in the lower section for the intake, and this baseline for the grille, and of course the spindle grille being completely intact for the LS for 2025. I think this came out in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. You have the LED, of course, being this Lexus swoosh design that I've always loved and creates a clear identity in the front end for the Lexus. Big logo in the front end as well. And I do like how dynamic the inserts or the graphics for the internal pieces of the grille look, because they go from wider in the bottom to very tight the closer we get to the logo, creating this dynamic vibe for the grille design itself. It looks very beautiful, this car, and I'm very sad to see this go, because as I said, this was the genesis of how Lexus introduced themselves in 1989, and they just blew everybody out of the water with how good this vehicle actually is. Now, looking at the side view, here you can see just how sleek and beautiful this body is. We have this line over the front axle, with the top point being right above the center point of the front axle, exactly like we want to see. And then we have this beautiful shoulder line that goes all the way across the entire greenhouse here. Fades a little bit in this area, which is fine, because that means that the rear fender is bulging out and creating a nice planted stance for this, and then coming back, fading back into the taillight design that still has a very organic look to it. I do like that we have a properly defined bumper here as well, sticking out properly. This is what I want to see on luxury sedans like this. It should be more restrained and should have all the key features that we're used to seeing going back decades intact, although in a modern design itself. Now, looking at the greenhouse, very low greenhouse here, dipping down, creating this 3-box design. Even though it is very fluid, this design, we still have a clear 3-box design for the LS. We can draw them out like this, and if you want to sketch a car, this is one way you can do it. Just draw these boxes out, and then once you have the boxes, the proportions right, that's when you start to define the car itself. If we draw a line from the A-pillar all the way down, you're going to see that it connects right into almost the center point right there of the front axle, and we have the D-pillar right here sitting right above the rear axle, like we want to see in big sedans like this. And I always love these lower section lines that Lexus put into the vehicles. We can see the line flow here, how it continues into the rear end here with this feature in the side of the bumper coming in from the key line that we have in the lower section of the side view. The wheels, not a huge fan of these wheels. Probably very, very comfortable because you have a lot of rubber here. Thick tire design, which is going to create a lot of comfort, obviously. But personally, I would 100% switch these wheels out. And same goes for the Heritage Edition up here. Even though I do like the spoke designs themselves, I would still switch these out because I want to have a little bit more sporty design for this. Even though these suit the vehicle, they have an elegant look to them. I want to make them a little bit bigger and also have a bit of a sportier design. Maybe not. Maybe keep the spoke design, just make them a little bigger. Now looking at the rear end, this reminds me a lot of the LC, which is one of my favorite Lexus models of all time. We have a nice trunk. You can see all the fluid lines going on here. Lower section looks beautiful as well. Would be nice to maybe see some exhaust pipes visible down here like we had on the old LS models. But they removed that. You can see it's sticking out down here. Properly defined bumper. Always been a massive fan of these taillight design because this is extremely dynamic. We have thick piece here going into a thinner piece right into the middle. And then I also actually like this chrome piece that we have in the center portion. Overall, it's a very fluid design. It looks almost like the surface of the ocean with all the waves breaking in different surfaces, in different areas, creating these peaks. In between the peaks, you have very fluid and soft, smooth surfacing. Reminds me a lot of simply the surface of the ocean when you look at Lexus design from just 5 years ago. Looking at the interior, stunning looking interior as well. Love to see that we have a gauge cluster that is housed within this unit right here. The infotainment screen does not look too big. It does not stick up too much either. And these are some lines that I really like about the interior of the LS because it creates a very nice, again, fluid design for the interior pieces, creating this stretched out motion in the interior. I really like, this is in fact another press photo of the Heritage. So this is the Heritage Edition right here because it's the only LS you can get with the red leather interior, which I think looks absolutely gorgeous in this darker red vibe. I'm not sure if we have any buttons. We do have a bunch of buttons here actually for the climate settings. Probably going to go away as we've seen in the new ES, which we're going to have a look at in a minute. And we have USBs, wireless charging pad, and all the buttons and features that you want to have in a big luxury SUV like this. Now, looking at the ES, and this is the big problem I have with cars today in general, not just Lexus. It's happening across the board. We talked about it before. The problem I think is happening is if you compare automotive designers to product or industrial designers, automotive designers, they're not the same as industrial designers. Industrial designers is more leaning towards engineers, and I think automotive designers also work with engineers, of course, to be able to create these beautiful sculptures. But automotive designers are also sculptors. I mean, they sculpt the external pieces of whatever the engineers need to fit underneath. Then you bring in the automotive designers to make a beautiful sculpture on wheels. That is the difference between product design, industrial designers, and automotive designers, is that I feel like automotive designers are more artists than just trying to make things work in the best possible way. It needs to have a certain beauty aspect to the products. That is the key difference, as we said so many times before here, between industrial design and automotive design. And that is what's going on here. I think we're hiring too many industrial designers to design cars these days. The engineering is taking over too big of a priority for car design today. Like just look at this, for example. What is happening here? What is this? What is going on with these weird lines? Straight line into the bottom piece. Looks like it doesn't have any cover here to build the front end up in the lower section. And everything feels so static and so robotic with new Lexus design. And this, of course, being the ES, needs to be an EV and an internal combustion engine in one single car, meaning that it's going to sit a lot higher. We've seen this with Volvo as well recently with their sedans, how they lift them up just to be able to fit the battery pack underneath here. This is not a design that I want to see Lexus move into, a design language. Thankfully, we still have the IS for at least a couple of years because they just refreshed it. Very, very thankful to see that. I actually think that is going to sell really well based on the new models that Lexus is dropping. I don't feel like, maybe I could be wrong, maybe people don't care as much about design as I do, But I feel like if you're a Lexus fan, I don't know what they think about these new design languages like we have here. It's so static. It just does not make sense to me to create consumer electronics like this on wheels. Specifically not when we're coming from a design language that looked this beautiful and this organic from the past Lexuses, even though these wheels are actually, maybe these wheels are the ones that I would want to put on the Heritage Edition over here, because the wheels are great on the ES. It's just the proportions and the graphics. And then we have this black trim piece that just goes right across the side view in the same thickness. So it's just like someone took a large pen and just drew a very static line in the side view of the ES. The rear end this is by far my favorite view for the new ES. And we can expect the new LS to have a similar design to what we have on the new ES, which is not going to be, I mean, I can almost guarantee you the new LS, whenever they create it, it's not going to be as good looking as the one that we have right now. So I think we need to appreciate what we have from Lexus and this latest Heritage Edition while we still have it. The worst part, though, is happening right here. I mean, what the heck is this? If I was the design director of Lexus and I saw this interior, I would just scrap this project and go straight back to the drawing board with a blank sheet of paper and look back at some of the most appreciated models in general, and specifically interiors, and take inspiration from that and try to work that into a new design language. This is never ever going to work for me, just slapping two screens on here. This tells me that the designers had absolutely nothing to do with this interior. Instead, it feels like they bought some screens off the shelf of some electronics company warehouse or whatever, and just slap them onto the dash. And that is not the way you design cars. That is always what made cars different from product designers and industrial design in general. And I feel like that is the key thing that we're losing in today's car design. There are, of course, exceptions. I think Mercedes is slowly coming back to automotive design. BMW is working on the Neue Klasse design as well, which is refreshing to see because they've been lost for the last 5 years when it comes to design. But it's going to be very sad to see the Lexus LS go. Thankfully, we had it for as long as we had it, 3 decades, about almost 3 decades, something like that. But for me, I'm very interested in seeing if this ES, how well it's going to be perceived when it goes on sale, and if Lexus are actually going to make some adjustments based on that feedback.